Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1613B, and today's date is July 11th, 2018, and the title of the episode is Trump and Putin's Meeting Will Seal the Deal, which pushes the plan forward. Let's get into the economic collapse, political, and geopolitical news. Now, yesterday we talked about Strzok and Lisa Page, and Lisa Page was supposed to testify behind closed doors with the House Judiciary Committee, and it looks like Lisa Page plans to blatantly defy a congressional subpoena by refusing to appear for her deposition. And Gutlatt is out there saying that it appears key witness Lisa Page has something to hide, and Congress will use all tools at their disposal to obtain her testimony. And we see right now that Lisa Page's lawyer is out there saying that she didn't receive the documents. They didn't receive the documents that were supposed to be given to us, and we weren't able to review them. And Jeffries, who is Lisa Page's lawyer, said the committees have not honored this request. As a result, Lisa is not going to appear for an interview at this time. However, the Freedom Caucus chairman Mark Meadows tweeted that Page and her attorneys did review the requested documents at the FBI on Tuesday, and that her failure to appear before Congress this morning had little to do with preparation and everything to do with avoiding accountability. So we already see right now that she's not going to testify, and they're going to take the appropriate actions. And again, these individuals, they know what is happening here, and they realize that they are stuck. We see the federal judge has now delayed the sentencing for Michael Flynn once again. Now, yesterday we thought the judge said no more delays, no more of anything, but it looks like the federal judge has delayed the sentencing. Now, we know that Huma Abedin and Anthony Weiner, they're in the center of the Clinton email scandal and everything else. And I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe this just happened to happen. What's very interesting about all this, in Anthony Weiner's and Huma Abedin's apartment complex in Manhattan, in the trash compactor, they found a dead body. Now, this is in their building. They both own this apartment in this building. And the police were called there. The female is unidentified and was discovered inside the trash compactor of the Manhattan apartment complex that Huma Abedin and convicted pedophile Anthony Weiner have used as a base for the last 16 years. Who is this person? We don't know. Why is this person there? We don't know. But again, don't you find it odd that this individual is in their building in a trash compactor? Very odd. And things are getting stranger and stranger as we move forward. We see there are certain GOP members of Congress, they're taking matters into their own hands, and because of all these different violent attacks by these masked individuals, which is Antifa, they decided to create a bill where it says the following, and the bill is called the Unmasking Antifa Act of 2018. Whoever, whether or not acting under color of law, while in disguise, including while wearing a mask, injures, oppresses, threatens, or intimidates any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or because of his having so exercised the same, shall be fined under this title, imprisoned no more than 15 years, or both. Well, you are allowed to go around with a mask on. The thing you cannot do is hurt someone, threaten people, and things like that. We already have laws for that. And again, what they're trying to do is they're trying to stop Antifa because they're a very violent group. They destroy property. They wear masks so nobody can identify them. And we know that this is all part of the deep state plan to push riots, to push anarchy all throughout the country. They're using this group, but it has not worked. We know that the judge has given the Trump administration a timeline to reunite children with their parents. And of course, once you do this, this is going to fail because there's no gray area in this. First of all, how do you know that these are the parents of the children? And what's very interesting is that the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Health and Human Services, they held a joint call Tuesday to announce their efforts to comply with the June 26 federal court ruling mandating children under 5 years old in HHS custody be reunited with parents if they were separated at the border. And of course, this ruling came from U.S. District Judge Dana Sabraw in response to the American Civil Liberties Union lawsuit, which was on July 10th, and that was the deadline. The problem here is that they don't know if these adults are the parents of these children. So the Joint Status Report notes that in at least 14 of the 102 children cases, they will not be reuniting them with parents because the adults in question are either not actually their parents, have been convicted of a serious crime, including rape and murder, or have been credibly accused of child abuse. The government will not place children with adults without completing these checks. HHS Chief Staff Chris Meekins went on to explain that 3 parents admitted they were not actually related to the children with whom they were ordered to be reunited when agents brought out DNA swabs to test the parentage. 2 others were proven not to be the parents when DNA tests were completed. 8 other purported parents will not be reunited with the children due to failed criminal background checks that turned up serious convictions or child abuse. And they're saying that they can't comply with this law because some of them, well, these are not their parents. The other ones are criminals, and they just can't do it. But the judge is saying you have to do it, which is absolutely ridiculous. And of course, this ruling was set up to fail from the beginning. We see NATO Secretary General agreed on Wednesday that Trump's call for other members to boost their defense spending under the military alliance is having an effect, and other members are going to boost the amount that they push into NATO. And again, do we really need NATO today? Most likely not. Russia is not a threat. This was created out of thin air. NATO was created to combat Russia. And right now, Russia, once again, is a made-up enemy. Turkey is going to receive the first batch of S-400 systems in 2019, and it looks like Turkey is going along with Russia, not the United States, and their military equipment. Assad's regime, they have widened their assault in the southwest area of Syria. They have hit the Islamic State pockets, and they are just going through all these different areas and liberating all these different areas. And it looks like the clock is now ticking down for the Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, the paid mercenaries, and the rest. And rebels right now, they have surrendered in the southern districts of Dara. And we also see from all these different areas that have surrendered or they've captured these areas, they are uncovering UK-made weapons along borders with Jordan. We're also seeing a lot of weapons from the U.S., especially the anti-tank weapons like the Javelin and the TOW. And again, these were given to the rebels, but we know that the rebels, the Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, they're all one in the same group. And now they're finding that all these weapons are turning up with the Islamic State or al-Nusra or Al-Qaeda. And once again, we see that this was being pushed by who? The Obama administration under the Timber Sycamore Plan. This was the covert CIA program which was established during the Obama administration to arm Syrian rebels locked in a protracted civil war against Assad regime. And at least 500 TOW missiles were reportedly transferred through Saudi Arabia to the Free Syrian Army in late 2015. And in February 2016, a Washington Post reporter, Thomas Gibbons Neff, noticed that a Javelin anti-tank weapon was in the hands of the Kurdish YPG forces. Now, again, this weapon was not given to them. It was given to the moderate rebels. But again, all these different areas were all one and the same, and they were just passing the weapons back and forth. Now, remember, in July, Trump moved to end the timber sycamore plan that Obama created, and that was stopped. We know that the funding to the Kurdish group was also stopped. They were funding the military because they were trying to separate Syria. The training and the payment towards the moderate rebels, that was discontinued. And we see that things are changing dramatically. Everything's coming to a screeching halt. Now, we know that Netanyahu is going to meet with Putin. We know that Trump is going to meet with Putin. And this is part of the plan. Once they both meet, the deal will be sealed. And what this means is Netanyahu is going to say, listen, we need you, Putin, to have Assad remove Iran, the advisors, everyone from Syria. Once this is confirmed, Netanyahu is going to speak to Trump and have the sanctions removed from Russia. And I believe this is part of the plan, which is in the beginning stages here, to get the troops out of Syria. Because what do they want to do? They want to show that Iran now is no longer a threat in Syria, no longer a threat on the border of Israel, no longer a threat to the coalition forces, and there's no reason to keep the forces there. And I do believe that Putin is going to make some type of an announcement to Assad, maybe not in public, maybe in private, and Assad is going to come out and he's going to say, since the terrorist groups have been eliminated in Syria, there's no reason to have foreign troops in Syria. And he's most likely going to ask Iran to now pack up and leave, and the U.S. to leave. And Russia is going to be the broker of this deal, where they're going to monitor the Iranians leaving, and then they're going to say, okay, they have left. Now it is your turn, the U.S., to leave this area. And I believe this is how it's going to play out, and we're going to see the troops removed from this area. Now, this is just one part of the plan. This is the beginning stages of what is happening out in the Middle East. There's going to be a lot more coming down the line. And we can see right now, this is something the deep state does not want. They spent many, many years having regime change, trying to remove Assad, trying to do all this, and everything is being taken away from them. And more of it is going to be taken away as time goes on. Change is in the air right now. Things are about to change. Yes, there is a possibility that the deep state could do something. Maybe they'll try another chemical weapons attack, which is kind of ridiculous because there's not much left in Syria where they can say, hey, it was Assad, because he has most of the country. Why would he use chemical weapons on his own people at this point? It makes no sense. Why would it make any sense that he used them at all? It doesn't. Why are the people for Assad if he's using chemical weapons on them? Why would the refugees come back to Syria? Millions and millions of people. They wouldn't. They would stay out of the country because they were afraid of the dictator Assad. They wouldn't come back. But they are. They're all coming back right now. And they're speaking to reporters saying their villages, their towns are so much better off since the terrorists have left. Who are the terrorists? The paid mercenaries, the Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, al-Nusra, the Syrian Democratic Forces, and the rest. And we see right now that everything is about to change. And as we move through this summer, we're going to see a lot more. And we're expecting this IG report to come out where it's going to be declassified. And we're going to see a lot of things happen. Hopefully everything goes as planned and everything moves forward smoothly. Because as we know, the deep state always has a trick or something up their sleeve to try to distract, to try to stop what is happening. But once again, it seems like the Patriots have things under control. They understand what is going on. They understand who's doing what. And it seems that they have more control now than they ever have before. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.